Has your back been hurting? If your back hurts, you got to admit it. It's not something just old people deal with, and I think it's something younger and younger generations are dealing with more and more, because we're spending less time doing activities with our legs. Period. It makes doing work so hard. I've been in places where I'm like mentally there, ready to work, maybe a cup of coffee in my system, and my back just hurts so much that I just can't focus. Nothing is gonna help. I'm not gonna be able to get anything done because the back is just like, it's so frustrating. Oh my gosh. So nutrition plays a role in the health of your back. Nutrition plays a role in the existence of your body, period. So if you're looking at a certain part of the body and its existence, there are building blocks essential for that part. Muscles, amino acids, bones, collagen, and calcium, and things like that. So your back, you know, if we're talking essential nutrients, we're talking collagen, baby, gelatin, things that form like the matrix and the discs in between your vertebrae. We're talking calcium, all right? Most people get enough calcium, but if you're like me and you eat a completely dairy-free diet, you might not be getting calcium, or if you just eat low amounts of dairy, because a lot of calcium comes from dairy. So just ask yourself that, right? You want to get enough calcium, and some people don't, and you need calcium to build bones. You just need it. There's a daily amount, like 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. I mean, I don't even get that. I might get a fraction of that, even with supplementation. So just kind of think about that. Other things like being anemic, having low amounts of iron in your body. You could get a blood test to do that. Lots of ways to figure that out. But just having low amounts of iron can cause nerve pains in the back and cause just back pain, general back pain. But here's what I do to completely just have no back pain. It works every time, only takes like maybe an hour, maybe half an hour. First thing, hip flexors, okay? If you're sitting all day, you're gonna have tight as fuck hip flexors. And they're probably gonna be so tight you don't even notice it because it's just, you naturally think that's how your hips should be. So you're gonna need to get a foam roller. Just get a nice firm foam roller. If you're a badass, you can just go get a PVC pipe around yay big and use that. And you're gonna use it to roll out your hip flexors. And all you do is just fucking take it, lay on it, and really get in there and just have fun. It's just like a self-massage. So you're just gonna get those hip flexors rolled out, right? The hip flexor is kind of like right here. This portion between your hip and, you can't even see me. Someone coming. Really get in. You got to really get into it. Like, spend the most time on this area, and just let your body sink into it. Just roll it out, and then also you're gonna want to like relax into the foam roller. So you're gonna want to like really lay down and relax it, kind of just massage it to the point where it feels the best. That's all I need to say. You just got to really get in there. The next thing you're going to want to do is roll out your hammies. Hammies are the second thing that get super tight when you're sitting all day. All right, your hammies, they're getting tight, you know? They're getting all tight. Just get the ham nice and tenderized, all right? You're going to want to get it nice and tender, nice and tender. So you're going to want to roll out the whole back of your leg, excluding the butt. So just the whole ham and the whole calf on both sides, and really get in. And make sure you roll out the knee area too, in between the ham and the calf. Super important. The ham gets super tight while you're sitting, and so does the calf. I mean, calf muscle tightness, I think, is a really prevalent cause of back pain, because that tightness can come up the chain of your whatever and make your lower back hurt. So just make sure you get the calf too, both sides. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is stretch your calves. So go to some door, grab the doorknobs, and use the side of the door to stretch your calves. Just really get in there. And you wanna stretch your calves, bend the knee a little bit, and then straighten the leg out. So you get the whole kind of chain. You'll be able to feel it kind of up the hamstring a little bit. And then if you bend your knee, you can isolate just the calf. Do that on both sides, really get a good stretch, like 5 minutes each side. Next you wanna do is stretch the hamstrings. I'll do like the cross leg and bend over, all right? And then go to the other side, cross it and bend over. I'll also do, you kind of bend at the hips and lean over one leg and bend your knee at varying degrees to isolate different parts of the ham. And it's all about feeling. You can feel it when it's stretching. So that's how you kind of find out if you're doing it right. Some of those stretches are hard if you've never tried to stretch the ham before and it's super tight. So that's why you really have to roll it out beforehand. Rolling out has to be first. Next, you're gonna wanna stretch. So do that for 3 or 4 minutes. I honestly do it for like a minute or two. Next, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna stretch the hip flexors. Yes, the classic old man stretch. You know, you can put your leg on a bench, but just put your leg in front of you, straighten the back leg and just fucking lean into it, baby. Just lean into it. Really feel that hip flexor stretch. Really straighten that back leg and lean into it. You know, you wanna lean into it and you wanna freaking, even what I do sometimes is I take the back leg and I open my hips up a little bit and I close them a little bit just to get that stretch all around there, because there's so much tightness on the inside of the groin, on the outside of the leg. Just work it, but be gentle and make sure you're feeling the whole time. You don't want to force things. You just want to listen to your body and do what feels the best. It's really all about just doing what feels the best. I'm just giving you these kind of basic guidelines for you to find out what feels the best. So you just want to work it. Oh yeah. So make sure you do hip flexors on both sides. The next thing I'm going to recommend is to do a basic set of stretches just for like 10 minutes. So if you don't know a basic set of stretches, I'll just tell you what I do. I'll sit down, do some butterflies, I'll cross a leg over, do some of that. Then I'll just do a classic, leg stretch where you bend over, touch your toes. Doesn't need to be super fancy for super long. 5 or 10 minutes will do just fine. And then you want to do this stretch, which I think is one of the most important stretches. Do not forget this stretch. I don't know what to call it. We used to call it a bad name back in high school, but basically we'll call it the right angle stretch. So you just make both your legs in a right angle, and you really, it's another sort of hip flexor quad stretch, that general area. And you want to really get into that position, lean back, make sure none of your knees lift off the ground, make sure you're not super arching your back, and lean back slowly and feel that stretch from your hip, your lower back, all the way through to your knee, all right? And you can variate this stretch and really work it by kind of thrusting your hips up to get a more stretch in the hip area, or relaxing your hips. And I want you to practice, this is really important, do that. Flex the hip flexors kind of and push your hips forward to more arch your back, or to more give yourself a bit of a banana shape. I don't know how to explain it. You could also just squeeze your glutes. This will do the same thing. And then totally relax the hip flexor and let your kind of hip flexor sink down. You want to practice this because the relaxing of the hip flexor is really what's going to release the tension in your area where you have back pain, I think. So do that on both sides. And at this point, you probably are going to be fine. You probably can just go on, you spend half an hour, 45 minutes. You'll probably be fine for a few hours. Maybe the whole day. I've sat for 5 hours after doing this and felt fine. I've also sat for an hour and then had to do it again just because I was sitting weird, or I just needed to do it more. I hadn't done it in a while. So, these muscles, they get tight over time. Really the name of the game is doing this often enough so you can break apart those. Basically what happens is your muscles weld in those places where they're tight after years of sitting that way. So you're just ripping that apart. I know it sounds gross, but slowly ripping it apart, your body's just gonna naturally repair. But that's what stretching does. Stretching is micro tearing your muscles. So getting back to the state where your muscles allow your body to have a natural, relaxed, good feeling state, especially in your back. So now that you've stretched, if you want to go the next step, the next level, which you don't always have to do, but if you want to really solidify this idea in your body that you're going to have this flexibility again and you're going to no longer have back pain, you want to do exercises. Exercises that, number one, engage the glutes, all of the glutes. If you are a millennial, if you are someone who's kind of my age and they're between 16 and frickin' 30, and you sit down a lot, you probably have no glutes unless you work out, because glutes just do not get activated when you sit. It's most of the time we sit on our backs, we kind of sit on our tailbones, we're not really engaging the butt muscles. And this causes for a lot of problems because the glute should be the biggest muscle in the body. The gluteus maximus, I think. Glutes are really important for walking, for running, for holding up your body, for supporting your spine. And if you don't have good glute structure, or if you don't have any glute muscles, you're gonna have back pain. It's gonna happen because even if you don't have it right now, like further down the line, when you should be using your glutes, you'll end up using your back to lift something, and boom, you got back pain. The number one exercise here, again, old person exercise, hip thrusters, where you just put your hands on the ground, your legs up, knees in the air, and you thrust your hips. And I would say my number one recommendation for this exercise is take it slow in the beginning, because for me, I couldn't even activate my glutes. Like I couldn't even feel the glute. You know how you can flex your bicep? You know what the bicep is, right? Well, like sometimes if you don't go for a long time without utilizing a muscle, you literally can't flex it. And I'm sure a lot of you will have that problem where you can't even like activate the glute muscle. So just do these hip thrusters, go to the very top and just hold it. Go as far as you can, like take your butt muscles and just squeeze as hard as you can at the top. Don't go down, just hold at the top, then stop squeezing, and then squeeze, and then stop squeezing, and just practice activating those glute muscles, okay? Your number one goal is to just get kind of blood flowing into the glutes, fucking activating them, being able to use them. Number two recommendation for this exercise, you gotta engage the core. If you're not engaging the core, it's gonna be hard to engage the glute muscles. I just found that out like a few months back. If you flex your abs while you're trying to do hip thrusters, you're gonna have much more ability to use the glutes. Make sure you're activating, get to the top, hold it, take your time. Don't do any like system that someone says. Just because someone says it, you're gonna have to do your own thing. You have to find what works for you. Don't do like 10 reps of 20 or 10 sets of 20 reps. Just make sure you're getting your glutes to activate, and then you'll figure it out from there. You just want to engage those glute muscles. You want to feel them get fatigued. You want to use them. You want to be able to flex your butt muscle. That's the goal at the end of the day. That's gonna just totally eliminate lower back pain. Totally, for the most part, for most people, because most of us don't have butts anymore. It's kind of sad, So, yeah. And then if you want to go a step further, probably squats, but don't even think about that's not even. We're out of pain world. That's just, developing muscle world. But I would also say, do not do weighted squats if you have lower back pain. Just stop it all, because usually what happens is people's glutes aren't developed enough. They try to do squats at the gym with weights, and they just literally don't even have any glute muscle activation going on where they can actually, build that muscle, period. And so they end up using their back or their thighs, and it's just, you just want to stick to the body weight stuff and have the control to be able to, use your glutes. The second exercise I'm going to recommend are body squats. Body squats always come second to hip thrusters. If you're not doing hip thrusters, do not even bother with the body squats, because the hip thrusters are going to help you activate the glutes. Just body weight squats, you can literally do those your whole life and never activate your glutes. And I'm pretty sure I've done that. So that's what I recommend there. That's what I do. Aside from all the other stuff, I'd say definitely look into like what you're sitting in all day long. If you're sitting in a folding metal chair, definitely stop. Get something padded, I would say try a bunch of chairs around your house. I wouldn't say go buy an expensive chair, just because depending on how tall you are, certain chairs are just not gonna work. It doesn't matter how expensive they are. So just try a bunch of different chairs, maybe find a bunch of different chairs around your house, like an armchair or, a folding chair, kitchen chair, and give those a shot and see what's working good and keep it and adjust from there. Of course, in the future, if you got the money, go ahead and buy a nice ass chair. But the important thing is experiment with what you're sitting in all day. Like, don't just sit in a fucking piece of shit all day. Also, experiment with putting pillows behind your back, like thin pillows, big pillows, circular pillows, whatever you got around the house. You could take a roll of toilet paper or a roll of paper towels and put it behind your back, or you can unravel it and try different sizes. You know, if you're over 6 foot, definitely like look at what you're sitting in all day. Look at what you're driving in all day. Sometimes you're just gonna need a bigger car with bigger seats. I drove around in this tiny car for a while and it was not good for my back. Really not good. I tried a bunch of different things. I even like took out my car seat and put a Volvo seat in there. But the Volvo seat I put in, as comfortable and padded and adjustable as it was still a small seat for a small car. If you can afford it, go find a chiropractor in your area that you resonate with. Don't just go to Joe Schmo or some random ass friend that might crack backs. I would highly recommend finding a chiropractor who also does like Reiki or some kind of energetic work, just because they have the feel. They're not just gonna do like a procedure based off of like an analytical thing, which is good, but you want both worlds. You want someone to analyze you, but you also want someone to feel your back and be like, oh my God, there's a lot of pressure here, there's a lot of fluid buildup here, whatever. That could be a total game changer if you've never done, you know, chiropractic. And chiropractic can also help different parts of your body. Because if you have subluxations or parts of your spine that are misaligned, sometimes aligning them can reactivate nerves in that area and reactivate connection with the brain, a better connection with certain parts of the body. And there are tons of people who have better digestion, less pain, you know, less anxiety, better breathing after just getting corrected a few times. So highly recommend chiropractic care. Just make sure you get someone who resonates with you, and don't give up if you go to a chiropractor and it doesn't do anything. If you've been to a chiropractor before, and like I've been to a chiropractor personally, he didn't really do very much for me. He cracked my back and I actually had worse back pain after leaving. But I've also gone to a chiropractor recently where he was very affordable, very cheap prices, out of pocket, super nice. He did this energy work, he did normal chiropractic care, and I felt phenomenal afterwards. Just consider chiropractic, but I would say try what I said first, because even if you go to a chiropractor, if you have these muscle tightnesses, the chiropractor is only going to be able to do so much. He'll only be able to correct you so much because your muscles will be so tight they won't move. But also you'll end up, going back to the chiropractor with the same kind of issues because your tight muscles will prevent your spine from relaxing into the right position. That's what I think. So yeah, roll out all those parts. Front of the legs, we're talking hip flexors, quads, and around the knee area. Back of the legs, we're talking hammies, we're talking calves, and around the knee area as well in the back. You're gonna want to, don't even bother rolling out your spine. Really, don't even bother. I've done that so many times, it doesn't do crap. You might think it's doing something, it's not gonna do nearly as much as what I'm telling you. Roll it out. Stretch it out. Do the exercises. You could probably just get away with the first two, rolling and stretching. And let me know in the comments how it goes. Hope it helps. You could probably find information similar to this all around the web, all around YouTube. You probably have to search for it pretty hard. But we should talk about it more, because people figure out things all the time for chronic pain, whether it's low back pain or some other type of pain. And we should be able to share it. We should be able to talk to each other about what's working for us, because that's most of the time how the good news spreads. That's how the good things in life spread. If someone tells you about it, someone's like, check out this chiropractor, check out this movie, try this stretch. So I'm here telling you, try this stretch, try this rollout, try this exercise. Let me know how it works. I'm actually excited to see if it works for you. I would say something to watch out for too that I fell into was thinking that there was something wrong and I just needed like a quick fix, quick adjustment, something to just kind of crack. No, for me and for probably most of you, this is a long-term issue that's happened over a long period of time of sitting in cars, of sitting down and muscles getting tight and not stretching them and not being able to activate other certain muscles. So the only real solution to this, to have good, healthy, posture, good back health, good muscle health, I guess, muscle balance. The only way is to do the exercises, roll it out, stretch it out, exercise, and do that, a few times a week for the rest of your life. Maybe every day if you're a healthy person. Honestly, I do it like every 3 or 4 days. It's not often at all. Very doable, very doable. But if you, maybe you'll need to do it every day in the beginning if you got a really tight muscles and stuff. So thanks for watching. I love ya. Here's another smooch for ya. Mwah. Join me next time where I talk about more things related to thriving. I should end with a joke. What did the chicken say when he saw chicken nuggets? There you go.